It is the Riot Podcast, Thursday, March 10th. Do we have to do the podcast still?
Well, the podcast is done. So are you asking, do we have to do this intro?
Yeah.
Is that the problem?
I mean, we could just skip this too, right?
Actually,
We've already started.
We make it way longer than we have to.
Think about it. If somebody's listening to this, that means they're already listening to the podcast too.
Yeah,
so they're
it's
just
there.
Yeah,
it's
but I mean, why are we even recording this? Because they already clicked on the podcast.
Yeah, but this is like this is a welcoming sort of thank you guys. We want to get you excited about what's going to be featured in this podcast.
Here's some of the things.
Yeah,
that way they'll make it to the end. You know, we can preview them.
What if us talking now actually talks them out of listening to
I have thought of that too.
What if this is worse than the rest of the podcast?
Hey, we've polled you guys before. You actually don't mind the podcast intros. You guys like some rather lengthier podcasts, and it seems like you're more forgiving than maybe other podcast experience.
What do you mean?
Meaning they're more forgiving if someone doesn't like something that we do, that you still enjoy the podcast anyways.
You'll pull it up with it. Well, the bonus of the podcast is you can just fast forward if there's something you don't like.
Stop telling these things, okay? No, you have to listen to the whole thing. Well, Isaiah, this is where you come in and really show what shines from today.
Convince people to keep listening.
Oh, isn't that the best
Or at
part?
least don't talk them out of continuing to listen.
Right.
So today on the podcast, you'll hear us talk a little bit about a woman who decided she was going to kind of forego the typical route of marriage and just marry herself, only to get divorced 6 months later.
I didn't say, because I didn't notice it till after, but the article underneath this story was talking about a lady who's in love with a model airplane. And
she married a model.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why is the word model in both these things? And in the article, the airplane lady was like, I don't think I can ever just be a part of a traditional relationship again. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's all right. You know what? I don't think anybody wants to be in a traditional relationship with her either. So.
Enough.
Yeah.
She wasn't the hot commodity on the dating apps, I
Not
guess.
like she thought. So you just know that when you hear about this lady who married herself and it didn't work out, that there's lots of other stories of creative marriages too.
Yeah.
Or relationships.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, we also talked a little bit about if you aren't in a position to get married and you're looking to get on the app of Tinder, if you have a sketchy background, you may not be able to make it on the app anymore.
I feel bad for like the small percentage of people that maybe had a past, but then they really truly change and they're totally different people. And this always probably makes it hard for them to do certain things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I feel like the good majority of people still fall into maybe some of the problems in their past.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it, and I wonder if for Tinder having the background checks, maybe it's less about having where you can background check somebody and see. It's more about keeping people that do have a sketchy past from wanting to even sign up in the first place. Sure. And that's actually not a bad strategy.
I assume it's more of a liability, and it doesn't look great for Tinder. And they had the swindler thing. I think they made it through that, but it just makes people, if a new dating app comes out, I think it just make them more willing to just try the next one then if it's safer.
Do you think if you were out there swiping and the people you kept matching with always had something in their background, do you think that would start to give you a little bit of a complex? Like, what am I always matching with these felons for?
You're the perfect match.
Yeah. You have a type. You have a type. Yes. And it's a felon.
Yeah, we also talked about if you want to just eat chicken nuggets and fries for your entire life, you can do that.
Apparently you can.
Yeah, this lady has a disorder. It's real, I guess.
Well, we had somebody call in after the fact that said they also had that disorder for a while.
But they've been cured. Or did they just eat yogurt?
No, she said she had it.
Okay.
She said she had it.
Is that something you want to go to a doctor for?
She said she did.
Yeah. Oh, she did? Wow.
Yeah. Well, she was a child, too. So I guess if you're a kid, your parents are probably more likely to take you if you're in her case, she was only eating yogurt.
Thanks for not saying.
I almost did. I had to correct myself, say it the American way.
Thank you for the yogurt.
And not the British way.
I guess it's just hard because I feel like in this room, our parents were probably more like, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
You're going to eat something else.
Our parents don't care about our mental disorders.
No, it didn't help.
They were just like, you're eating it. I don't care if you only want to eat yogurt. That's not a choice.
Even though now as an adult, dude, I would totally just want to eat nuggets and fries.
Oh, yes.
But you would get tired of it, though.
No.
Wouldn't
you think so?
Nope.
Yes, you would.
If it was okay,
then why don't you test it out?
Why? What if it was just not? You're thinking like I'd get tired of McDonald's nuggets and fries, but if you think if it's just like chicken tenders, so you could go to Cane's one day. You could have
maybe you air fry some at home.
Air fry. You don't have to eat out all the time.
Yes.
Make your own fries, sweet potato fries.
Well, here's the good news. You are that's the great thing about being an adult. You can do that. You have your own money. You cook your own meals. You can do it.
Dude, when
Why
I moved,
Because it's not responsible. You're not an adult if you're doing that.
She has been doing it for 22 years and she's fine.
She's
but
fine
listen,
and healthy.
that's fine. But there is judgment that comes with that. Like if I
don't
tell
know.
people that I'm only eating that, or you only see me eating that, there's going to be judgment.
There's going to be news stories about you.
Yeah, there are.
And is that so bad?
It is.
We're not here. Like what? She's still going to be fine.
We'll
after
try
her news
anything
stories?
at this point. If it means just eating chicken and fries, we'll try it.
I say give it a shot.
All right. Well, at this point, we're 6 minutes in, guys. Hudson, for someone who didn't want to do this.
Hopefully you love the podcast intro.
Yeah. What is the polling on the really long podcast intro?
Again, you guys are so sweet. You don't tell us even if you hate something. Well, we appreciate that. Don't forget, tomorrow in the show, we've got Steve from Wolves at the Gate. So make sure you get excited for the next day's podcast, too.
And we'll catch you next time.
Have a good day.
See you guys.
It sounds like these two need to do a little less TikToking and a little more tick listening. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
We have a mail carrier in California, Sacramento. He's being accused, this is what they say in the story, of foul play.
What's he doing?
He beat up a turkey.
Oh, really?
He beat a turkey so hard, he killed it.
Yeah, beating to death. That's a little bit more.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like he was fighting it or something.
Well, he fought it to the death.
Why would he do that?
Apparently, it was a hostile turkey, a hostile wild turkey. So he says, or according to this story, that the bird accosted him. And he had to grab a pole or a stick from his...
He chose to. He didn't have to.
Well, what are you just going to sit there and let the turkey beat you up?
If he went to his car to get
It was him or the turkey, Nikki.
He went to his vehicle to get the stick to go beat the turkey to death. He could have just stayed in his vehicle.
Yeah. Have you ever been attacked by a turkey?
Have you?
No, but goose. It's pretty similar, right?
So a goose attacked you?
Yeah, I was in a car.
Did it survive?
Yes.
Okay, so it's possible.
I drove away. Is how it flew at the window.
Yeah.
It was scary. The window was open.
No, I'll give you. They can be pretty aggressive.
And turkeys are bigger, so I don't know if they're more vicious, but they are bigger. So I guess the USPS there in Sacramento, they are launching an investigation to see. They've actually say they've had several altercations, the post office employees have, with aggressive turkeys in the area.
So that was like the last straw for him.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe. And you're just trying to get the turkey to leave you alone, right? Maybe he didn't know, or maybe he's been attacked by enough turkeys, and he's finally letting his aggression out of, instead of just, you could just beat it once. And not that this is right, but you could just beat it once.
I don't even want to hear it.
Well, you could just hit it once, and maybe the turkey is immobilized. But you're really upset with the turkey. You see it in movies.
He goes a little bit too much.
After a relationship goes sour, and somebody's attacking the other, and you're like, and it's not just a crime of passion, you could say.
Just stop trying to make
crime
it okay.
of passion with the.
Stop
I'm not
making
saying
it okay.
it's okay.
I know. I didn't even want to hear you on that side of it.
Although I'm more. I mean, it's a turkey. I don't want the turkey to die, but the turkey was the aggressor. The turkey started the fight.
Okay, we're not in court. This isn't your opening argument on what happened. They do say also that another letter carrier had a recent attack as well. So they had been working with the Department of Fish and Wildlife to mitigate the issue. They just needed to bring them in to help. However, they say that him beating the turkey dead was inexcusable and does not reflect the efforts of their postal worker employees who faithfully serve and deliver for America every day.
I mean, how's he going to keep delivering the mail if a turkey is attacking him the whole time? How is he going to get out of his car and give the mail to you?
Go help him out with his argument, will you? Just send all this to him.
I don't know why is he? It's not a crime. Is it a crime to kill a turkey?
Maybe, or how he killed the turkey. And did he take it home? Is he eating it?
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to the turkey afterwards.
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's a part of an investigation. It's
evidence.
Yeah, the USPS has filed complaints in the past about aggressive turkeys in that area. So this is no new thing for them. They've tried to capture the turkeys, and now the postal workers have had to defend themselves. But this guy just went too much.
You think they had to draw a chalk outline of the turkey?
Oh, where he died. Oh, Hudson. Oh.
It's got all those little placards with the numbers on it.
Yeah.
For all the evidence.
Everybody, now when the guy goes back to the post office, they're like, shame. or
they're probably a hero.
They're a hero to him because, he got rid of it.
The postal workers have been at war with the turkeys for a long time in this area. And finally, somebody stood up to them.
Well, neighborhood's divided. They said, how could the mailman kill a turkey? And the other's like, hey, the mailman killed the turkey. So it is a very difficult situation to try to work through it.
Yeah, well, I unless new evidence emerges, I'm siding with the mailman.
Okay.
Got to defend yourself.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. I hate turkeys. It's overrated meat.
You're over there with your gravy.
Yeah.
All ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
The Riot promise is that they'll always have an opinion on everything they talk about. But that doesn't mean any of their opinions will make sense. This is The Riot on RadioU.
Now, if you were planning on seeing a DC superhero movie in the theaters anytime soon, think again, unless it's the Batman, because obviously that's out. But
well, that's their main promotion, I think, maybe for the rest of the year.
Yeah, pretty much, because Warner Brothers yesterday shuffled all of their release schedule for the next couple of years, and that primarily affected all of their DC Universe world of movies.
Because if they move one, it shifts everything else.
Yeah, and most stuff was moved back. There actually was one movie that was moved up that we'll get to, but Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, that's, Aquaman 2, has been delayed from, that was supposed to come out in December of this year. It's now coming out in March of next year.
Well,
so
that's not the worst.
Not a long delay.
They say that's because of COVID problems with production delays and visual effects delays, which means they're not looking good enough.
Yeah.
And they need to work on the visual effects more.
That's good that they really want to put in the effort on that.
Sure.
The other one, one of the other major ones is The Flash, which was supposed to come out on November 4th of this year. Instead, that will be June 23rd of next year. Can I tell you? I didn't even know they were making a Flash movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not even I heard that.
They better put that back, move that back so they can actually build some awareness of that fact. Dwayne Johnson is starring as Black Adam. That's a new series in the DC universe they're starting. That was supposed to be, or that will now be in October, because that was supposed to come out this summer.
Yeah.
That was supposed to come out on July 29th, but fear not, on July 29th will now be the DC League of Super Pets. That's the animated movie.
We talked about that the other day because Keanu Reeves was announced as Batman.
He's going to be Batman, and so that's July 29th. That was originally going to be May 20th, so that is their next release, will be July 29th, the DC League of Super Pets. And then I promised you, one is moving up. That is Shazam 2. Fury of the Gods will now be moving from June 2nd, 2023 to December 12th of this year for Christmas.
That means that does not have production problems.
Yeah.
And it's the easiest of all the movies to move.
It's turning out good, which it's fine because the first Shazam movie came out. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that one was actually a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to the second one.
To move outside of superhero movies, they are pushing back Wonka, Willy Wonka.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, from March of 23 to December 15th of 23. And Meg 2, the shark one.
Yeah, I didn't know they were doing that either.
Oh, yeah, that made some money, the first one.
Yeah, I guess it did.
That will be August 4th of 2023.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on RadioU.
We have a woman. She is from Brazil. She's 34 years old. She's getting divorced.
That's too bad.
Well, see if you still think that it's too bad when you find out that she's getting divorced from herself.
Did she marry herself?
She married herself. 6 months later, divorcing herself.
Nowadays, okay, think about that. Would you, when you tell people like, oh, I'm divorced, is that not as bad because it look like, oh, she at least got married, like.
It seems a bit dramatic to me.
It does.
A little dramatic.
It does. It seems a bit like, did she have like a party? Did she get presents?
Yeah, you know what?
Gifts?
If someone invites me to like a wedding and it's for them to marry themselves, I don't want to go to any wedding anyways. I definitely don't want to go to a wedding if you're marrying yourself, and you're not getting a gift out of me for that.
And we're not doing the weddings where you're like, and they married a bridge.
Right.
No, we're not doing those either.
I do that over marrying yourself, though. At least you're marrying something.
I don't know.
So her name is Chris Galera. She is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and she's, a model, a Playboy model, stuff like that.
Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah, right. And still, she couldn't find somebody suitable. She said she'd had some relationships that didn't go the way she wanted them to.
Yeah.
So she realized she's a strong and independent and determined woman. So she'll marry herself instead. Now that lasted for a while, but you know what's coming up? Carnival.
She wants to be single by then?
Yeah, so she wants to be free from the shackles of being married to herself.
I guess I don't understand because the marrying yourself is not probably a legal binding thing. So
I don't know.
The divorce thing is also not a legal binding thing.
Yeah, right.
So it's just saying it.
And I feel that if you're going out partying in Brazil, if you just say, like, what is the difference? If you're partying with people and they're going to be like divorced versus if you just say you're single the whole time, or if you just say you're married, I think things are going to go generally the same for you either way, especially if you're a model. I think, she's
got the ring on the finger and everything, trying to be committed to herself.
Buy herself a ring?
I'm sure if she decided to do all this, I'm sure she has a
dress.
ring. I'm sure she's got a ring if she did all this.
I don't see a picture of her showing off the ring.
She said, I'm sure it was. This feels like a social media thing. She said, I didn't divorce myself because I got tired of myself. I like to have a very solid reason, and that's why I'm partying. She doesn't.
That is a solid reason.
So solid.
She doesn't regret. Sometimes you don't know what you're saying until it's read back to you.
Yeah.
She doesn't regret her decision to get married to herself. In fact, the opposite. She enjoyed the wedding with it, and she was also just protesting against traditional marriage.
You want to hear the most ironic thing she said?
What?
This is a quote. I don't believe in traditional marriage because they always end.
Oh, but now she
so do non-traditional marriages, apparently.
Way to prove them wrong, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Way to prove them wrong.
Well, it just seems, again, more this like it was a social media sort of thing for her.
Well, congratulations to her.
But she can party now, so she's free.
I'm very sorry. I don't know what to say.
I'm glad she was able to get out of that toxic relationship and be able to work towards herself,
You know when you break up with someone and then you're like, oh, I'm single, and you're trying to show like how fun and happy you are, and so you post all these pictures on like social media and all that stuff for the other person to see, and now you're like, but you're the other person,
right?
Yeah.
How do you
finally free from all this toxicity?
You're stalking yourself.
Yes. On Instagram, that'd be awful.
Well, hopefully she can move on and find a new. Marry herself. I don't know. Where do you go from here? I just hope she can move on and live a happy life.
Whatever she wants to do.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast, RadioU.
The NFL's quarterback carousel keeps spinning round.
I guess there's other teams than the main ones we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
Who are looking for quarterbacks at this point.
And there's still quarterbacks out there to be found. Now, some of them, now we're getting to the point where most of the guys that are going to be moving, maybe a little less. I mean, nobody's as good as Aaron Rodgers, but they're not quite as good as that top level. Mm-hmm. But still, they're important, and they could still win you a Super Bowl, potentially. What do you think about this one, Isaiah and Nikki?
Thanks for making me feel a part of it.
Yeah. Have you heard of Carson Wentz?
No.
Well, he's not very important.
Prince,
is he not?
He's the Prince Harry looking. Is it Harry or William? Harry. He's the Prince Harry looking guy.
Oh, he looks like what? No.
He has red hair.
Look at his picture.
I'll look now. Hang on.
He has red hair, red beard. He's not very good at football.
What team?
What?
You're so mean.
He got traded to the Washington Commanders, and they will not be winning many games.
So he went from the Colts to the Commanders. I have not heard of him before.
He's technically a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He would have, in the year he would have won MVP, he got injured. So he didn't win MVP, and he missed the playoffs, but the Eagles, the team he was on, still wound up winning the Super Bowl. So that was a pretty big year for him. It's kind of been all downhill from there. He had another couple seasons with the Eagles once he got healthy again that weren't as good. He got traded to the Colts last year, where things were going fine until the end of the season where he collapsed, not physically, but figuratively.
Mentally.
Yeah, apparently mentally. The team collapsed around him as well, and they wound up missing the playoffs, losing some easy, must-win games, should have won games to miss the playoffs, and then that apparently soured the Colts on him. So now they've traded him to the Washington Commanders for, it's just a bunch of draft picks trading spots and then him. And so you don't think it's a good trade?
Do I think it's a good trade for who?
For who is it a good trade for, and who is it not?
I don't think it's. I think it's an okay trade for Washington. As they're just one of those teams in the middle. Like, he's not going to put you over the hump. You might make the playoffs. Like, he becomes probably the second best quarterback in this division now. But at the same time, if you're ever trading third-round picks for a quarterback, you can't really have very high expectations.
Oh, sure.
I think it's a great move by Washington. It may wind up not working. They might miss the playoffs. But if your goal is to win the Super Bowl, is that the goal of the NFL?
Yes.
Win the Super Bowl? Are you going to win the Super Bowl more likely with Carson Wentz or Taylor Heineke? That's the guy they're using.
Neither. He was the reason the Colts didn't make the playoffs.
He was also an MVP level guy.
5 years ago.
You take a shot on it.
5 years
you
ago.
see what you get. It's better than Taylor Heineke.
Oh, I love football talk with you guys.
I don't know who else you want to run out there. You're not like the other. See, the thing is, are the Colts more or less likely to win a Super Bowl this year without him?
More.
Sure.
Well, who are they going to get?
Jimmy G.
He's not going to win a Super Bowl either.
Neither is Carson Wentz. Like, what do you want? I mean, you got to get Carson out.
The odds are at bet are, you're 1 out of 32 teams. So 31 teams aren't going to win. They may not win, but they're more likely to win with him than if they were just going to go with whoever the alternative was. He is, unless you were going to get Deshaun Watson, he's the best option out there.
Well, from now on, after looking at him and pictures of Prince Harry, he does look like him.
Yeah.
So if you just want to call Carson Wentz Football Harry or something that,
Football Prince.
I will remember who he is by that.
Prince Carson, how about
Prince
that?
Carson,
There we go. Well,
Prince of football.
Isaiah and I don't see eye to eye on this one at all.
If you're looking for diet motivation, you won't find it here. The Riot, RadioU.
Tinder is adding a new safety feature to their app to aid in making sure that nobody ever gets Tinder swindled again.
I wonder if that was good publicity for them or bad or didn't really change people's...
It was good publicity for the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
A bunch of swindlers are like, an opportunity.
It's not a bad thing to add more safety features to kind of help you if you're using Tinder to not feel like you are being swindled by an individual on there to promote some more safety.
And in this case, not even swindled too, but more serious stuff that they're trying to help you avoid. So they are adding into the actual Tinder app, you'll be able to conduct criminal background checks on people, potential matches. You'll be able to check if they've had any kind of violent crimes, if they're on the sex offender registry, stuff like that, so that you can make sure you kind of know a little bit about making sure you're not getting into a relationship or starting to get attached to somebody who may have some bad stuff in their past. Yeah.
So this excludes homicides and robberies. That is intense.
Well, more than 14 years ago.
Committed more than 14 years ago. I was getting to that point.
Oh, yeah.
And then they also exclude financial crimes committed more than 7 years ago. So that must be a limit that's around.
Yeah. And once you can be rehabilitated.
I guess.
I would still probably like to know if you did commit a homicide, whether it was 14 years ago or longer. I think I would like to know that one.
I think, though, Tinder's like, no, if it's more than 14, then that's on the person to tell you or when you guys start to communicate and talk. But that's good. Some more safety concerns. I think safety is probably one of the most important parts when it comes to dating on any dating app.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know nowadays, and everybody likes to lie about everything.
Right. So that is good. Since I don't know much about Tinder as far as like I'm not on Tinder, so I don't know. But how much? I guess I wonder, how do they get this information? How much stuff do they have to get from you when you sign up so that they are able to provide this? As in, like, how much information do you have to provide so that they can have background checks on you for somebody else?
So this goes with the Match Group, which is the owner. It's like the parent company of Tinder. They're going to be working with a nonprofit background check organization, and they're going to be the ones doing it. The only thing I don't know is, like, we run background checks, like, say if you hire somebody, but those, I think, cost money.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So is this free? Is this not free? Or
I
haven't gone into those details.
It would be a bad look, because I thought that too. It would be a really bad look if this was like, because I think they have a paid Tinder option, like Tinder Plus or whatever it might be. And so it would kind of be a bad look if you had to pay for that. The free people, the poories out there, they don't, their safety isn't important. You have to pay only, but I agree. I thought background checks generally, you actually had to spend money to conduct those normally. So I guess it's even nicer if Tinder's adding it in, and that's just free of charge. So that's great. Although at the end of the day, like, doesn't it kind of feel, the irony is that Tinder, which is meant to match you up with somebody, you're trying to find that special someone, but the features they add more and more just try to make you convince you that you don't want to actually date anybody, because we're all horrible.
I think most people are fine.
But this is an extra level of horrible for sure that you do want to avoid.
You need to know that there's a difference between, like, if someone ghosts you and they're just a horrible person that way, compared to, like robbery convictions. Like, that's another level of horrible.
There's definitely different levels.
It's
for
different,
sure.
But it's nice if you can know both of them.
Yeah, and all of those things make you not want to date people.
Some talking, a little bit of yelling, and a whole lot of eating. The Riot, RadioU.
Isaiah, are you ready for a little bit of, we're going to do a diagnosis of you here.
Oh, I'd love a good diagnosis.
Something that you think is different about Isaiah?
We're going to find out if you have avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, or ARFID. Do you think you have that?
ARFID?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I avoid things specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a green bean and somebody encourages you to eat, it sounds like you avoid.
With people, like, that disorder is like a real thing, because it's where you'll see, like, you'll read about a person who's like, I've only had potato chips, and like, that's it for the last, like, 20 years. Isaiah eats, I think, more than, maybe not as much as the everyday person, but you'll try other foods.
Yeah, I'm like a middle tier, just like a normal person, you would say.
Well, we have this woman here. It's funny you should mention, Nikki. We have a woman who says she has not eaten a fruit or a vegetable in 22 years. She does claim to have avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. Her name is Summer Monroe. She's 25. She's from the UK. She hasn't had a fruit or a vegetable since she was about 3 years old.
And
wow.
That's when her parents stopped making her.
That's commitment right there.
She's
a stubborn 4-year-old.
She attributes her disorder to a trauma that took place when she was 3 years old, when she was forced against her will to eat mashed potatoes.
Oh,
that was her trauma?
That was her trigger.
Traumatic.
She was triggered when she was 3 years old, and from then on, she has not been able to bring herself to eat anything that resembles a fruit or a vegetable.
I feel like we all need to sit down with her and explain some other childhood trauma that people experience, because mashed potatoes is not it.
Some people are strong and resilient and able to just move on from much more traumatic things. And she had to eat mashed potatoes.
That's like, out of everything, that's soft. They're delicious.
They're so good.
Easy to eat. Like, that's something that should have been good.
Not to her when she was 3 years old, evidently.
So what will she eat then?
She only will eat chicken nuggets, pretty much, is what it sounds like. Chicken nuggets. She has potato chips for lunch, actually, like
and
you mentioned. Potato chips, fries, chicken nuggets. But that list, that's about it, it sounds like, for what she eats. She says everything that she eats has like a fried texture to it. So she thinks it's a texture thing. She thinks
not
that
a taste.
because the mashed potatoes is the thing that caused her to develop this, is that she wants to avoid all foods. Her brain wants her to avoid all foods that are any kind of mushy like that. And so it needs to be something that's completely the opposite. In other words, very crunchy.
She said she's tried to eat apples, physically can't. Her grandfather offered her $1,300 to eat a single pea. She would not.
Yeah.
Wouldn't take the money, wouldn't try it.
If this is fake, she's pretty committed.
Very committed.
So basically, French fries and chicken nuggets.
So do you think you have this?
No, I don't have this,
No?
but I would love to have a diet of just French fries and chicken nuggets. That sounds fantastic.
Right? That sounds good.
What do you think about, here's my thinking on this. She says, like, she's been to the doctor and stuff. She's totally fine, healthy. Her blood work is fine. Everything's going good. I see that for you. And for me, that's inspiration. Because I don't like vegetables either. I eat some of them. But it turns out you don't need to.
Don't have to.
She's been 22 years without a vegetable. She's fine.
Well,
Why are the rest of us eating
That's
them
incredible.
for her?
It probably balances out because, though, we eat fruits and vegetables, we also eat way worse stuff. So if she's only eating chicken and potatoes, basically, that means she's not eating cookies or like sweets and stuff.
Maybe,
and
yeah.
other foods. She's been to therapy.
Ice cream.
All the other food groups.
The other thing that helps her out is, like she says, if she goes out to a restaurant or whatever, she hates it because she doesn't feel comfortable ordering anything, which I don't get. Every restaurant has chicken tenders.
And
Yeah, but there's a stigma. There's a stigma to that. You know,
What do
if
you
I
mean?
go to like a nice restaurant and I order chicken tenders, they're like, "Oh, Isaiah got chicken tenders again."
Well, that's because it's normally on the children's menu.
Well, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, okay? It's cheaper and it's always better.
You got to go to restaurants that have like a fancy grown-up name for chicken tenders.
Yes.
Even though they're still the same thing, like the
crispy chicken.
the licking finger
Yeah.
sizzlers or something like that, and then you feel like a real grown-up.
Wow, that is fancy.
They won't. You don't have to be like, well, I have bad news for you, Isaiah. She is taken. So if you wanted to,
geez.
yeah, if you,
That would have been nice.
I thought it was a
wouldn't have
match
been
made in
judged.
heaven.
I wouldn't have been judged on my
Yeah.
meal choices. That'd have been so great.
Yeah, it would have worked out for you. But hey, the guy she's with is very supportive, but he does not. He eats. They have to make separate meals every night.
Oh,
'cause
he eats normal stuff?
Yeah, he eats normal stuff. So maybe the door will be open one day.
Well, maybe in honor of her, we should have some chicken nuggets today.
Hey,
That sounds great to me.
I'm on
I'll
board
never
with
argue that.
In solidarity. In
We'll
solidarity.
have that.
Absolutely perfect. No notes. The Riot on Radio U.
If you're a fan of the Penguin that was in Colin Farrell's portrayal of the Penguin in the new Batman movie, I've got good news for you.
Are they going to do more?
You're going to get a whole lot more of that, which I guess if you haven't seen the Batman, which I haven't, this seems like a spoiler. The Penguin does not die.
How could they do that?
This does not sound like a prequel. It is, they're talking about how Colin Farrell as the Penguin, he is getting a show for HBO Max called The Penguin.
So is he going to still be the Penguin?
Yeah, I believe that he is, yeah.
Okay, 'cause
Which is...
he had so much makeup and stuff on him that technically I feel like you could put anybody there.
Yeah, it could be anybody. But so that is interesting that he is going to sign up to go through all of that makeup and stuff and whatever suit he had to wear and whatnot.
Well, I feel like Colin Farrell maybe at first didn't come across as like someone who's doing a TV show now.
Yeah.
But it gets you in the Warner Brothers, like still the world of Batman.
Yeah.
And this is going to be for HBO Max.
And with like some of the stuff between the streaming service situation and the how valuable the comic book properties, the superhero properties are, they can put a high enough budget to get somebody like Colin Farrell to do
you get more money.
a show like this as well. And he's also going to be executive producing, of course. So they're going to continue on with the story of Colin Farrell as the Penguin from the Batman movie, where he's going to continue on violently grasping for power in the city of Gotham. We don't have a release date. It's pretty early on in production on that, but it's official. It's happening.
HBO Max was supposed to do another Gotham show. I think that might have been the prequel one. And then they said that one's been shelved.
Yeah.
So now they're really just going to focus on the Penguin one.
Did you see about that? It was going to focus on like the police department in Gotham, but they decided to change that And so I believe they are now working on one instead that is going to focus on the Arkham. They call it Arkham, which I believe is the asylum or something.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. So that will be interesting as well. But obviously a fairly different idea than the Gotham Central Police Department show they initially were planning. But lots of spin-off Batman content coming your way.
I guess. It's like when you go to Disney and there's so much spin-off stuff of everything.
Yeah.
It's like it's all Star Wars and it's all this or it's all spin-offs. And when you go to HBO Max, they're going to do the same thing too.
They are. And, in a way, it's kind of weird to have like a Penguin show without the Batman. It'd be weird to have the Batman not involved. But at the same time, the Penguin's got to be doing a lot of stuff that doesn't involve Batman, don't you think?
He's got his own life.
Yeah. I mean, the Batman's fighting a million villains all the time.
Sure.
He can't always be fighting the Penguin, so that means the Penguin's got a lot of free time to interact with other people that aren't the Batman. So.
Maybe you'll see in the background like the cape, Batman's cape or something like floating around.
Yeah, right.
They allude to he's around, but really the Penguin, that'll be for HBO Max and Colin Farrell will do it.
It'd be funny if in the show they keep having like headlines of like the other guy that Batman's fighting that's causing more havoc. And so the Penguin's like, this is my chance. He's paying attention to that guy. I'm gonna go do whatever I need to do.
He's jealous.
Because the Batman's preoccupied.
He just wants more attention now. So he's got to get his own show.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Nasal tanning spray.
Well, I had looked at this. I saw that it was on the list. And at first I was like, are we supposed to be tanning the inside of our nose?
Yeah, I thought that as well.
I mean, I know tons of people tan, like outside, and I was wrong. I had not heard that there's a spray you can use that supposedly enhances when you do go tanning.
Yeah.
So you spray it up your nose, and then your tan is supposed to be better on the outside of your body.
Yeah.
I find this very odd.
Yeah, it's supposedly a chemical called melanotan, not to be confused with melatonin.
Sure.
Melanotan is something that there's actually sprays out there that you can find that have this in it, and then you're supposed to, the makers of the spray say you're supposed to inhale this and it's going to enhance your tan. Well, doctors are saying not so fast. It is actually not safe. So if you're seeing this trend going around and you're thinking it's an easy, quick fix to get a tan,
it's not so much.
It's actually not, because first of all, when you're inhaling anything, the reason that some stuff is meant to be inhaled is because that you have the barrier between your skin and your bloodstream is like as thinnest that you can find in your nose, pretty much. So if you're inhaling stuff, it's going straight into your bloodstream and it's going there quick.
I always thought like straight to your brain.
Yeah, right. It's pretty close.
Like you're tanning your brain.
Yeah. That's the next trend.
You just want to be careful about it.
Yeah. So there's obviously the chemicals in that you inhale are going to be more. It's going to affect you more. But because these aren't FDA approved, they don't know. They can't say for sure that this doesn't have long-term effects or even short-term effects, or if it actually even truly works, or if it's just a thing, one of these miracle things that you're supposed to be tanner if you inhale this stuff. So
it's weird. It's also supposed to, people like it because you're supposed to tan faster. So you're tan better and faster with this nose spray that you spray into your nose. It sounds so weird.
Yeah.
But they're saying that potential side effects, you could get dizzy, nauseous, blood pressure problems, vomiting.
Ooh, nobody wants that stuff.
Come on. So they just warn people that it's not controlled and there could be consequences for it.
Yeah, so the doctors want you to be on the lookout for that, but dermatologists also say, of course, because who doesn't want to have a nice tan, right? It looks nice, but they say that, of course, if you get a natural tan from the sunshine or from a tanning bed, that can cause skin cancer, so you're not supposed to do that.
Well, pale it is then.
Yeah. Well, they say the only safe way to get a tan, because you also don't want to use tanning spray. They say you can inhale a lot of chemicals from that, even not the spray that goes up your nose.
What about a lotion?
Spray tan. That's the only safe way.
Tanning lotion?
The only approved way by dermatologists of actually getting a tan, tanning cream.
I tried that and I just couldn't do it right.
I feel like it would be hard to make that look natural. and an unnatural looking tan is much worse than just being pale. So
everybody goes and looks up your nose. You're like, are you tan? Do you do the spray?
Lower your expectations enough and you'll never be disappointed. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
We have a man here. He was really committed to his smuggling that he was trying to do. He was this guy. He was caught by U.S. Border Patrol agents in California coming in from Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Was he driving in then?
Yeah, he was driving in. He had 52 lizards and snakes he was trying to hide. He was hiding them, not in like his truck or whatever. They were all hidden in his clothes between his jacket and then in his pants.
Smart.
His pockets. His groin area.
No.
He was hiding them actually
Smart.
internally in the pants, not just in the pockets, but actually, I don't know if they were taped on his legs or what was holding them in place. But then now they were all in bags, these 52 reptiles.
Oh, I don't know.
Each individually.
Were they alive or like frozen or like dried out?
I don't know. I have a picture here. Maybe
they do look dead.
Yeah,
but I can't tell.
I would. Not that I want them to be dead.
Mm-hmm. I think it's easier to understand this if they are.
Yeah, because if you're taking a big risk putting reptiles anywhere around your body, they can still bite even if they're not poisonous. They might not kill you. They can still bite you.
No, I found it. They were live.
They were alive.
They were alive. 52,
Nice.
Goodness.
52 live reptiles. That's what's tied around his body.
Oh, my
They had
gosh.
9 snakes, 43 horned lizards. Some of the species were considered endangered, which makes what he did more punishable. And, I mean, smuggling in your clothes is not an unknown thing. Like, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of stuff to smuggle.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, how many think you could have gotten away with? Like maybe 5, 6?
Well, I want to know why they stop you when you go in, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they, if you check a few red flags.
A little suspicious.
Yeah.
Then they're like, well, let's talk a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know what was the flag where they're like, well, your pants are lumpy or you don't want to, you're very nervous. You don't want to get out of the car.
Is that a snake in your pants? Or, the old, which actually in this case, it was the snake.
It was several of them.
You know what I don't understand? He's got 52 of these things.
Mm-hmm.
He's got them taped all like they specifically pointed out, his jacket pockets, inside his jacket, in his pants pockets, and then in his groin. Why would you have a whole body? Why not leave the groin area safe?
That's the safest spot.
What do you mean it's the safest spot?
If you're gonna hide something, nobody's gonna check there.
I guess that's a good point. But I mean,
when they're doing the pat down, they're gonna be a little more gentle in that area. So more than likely, you're gonna get away with it.
I guess so. But so what? You're already assuming you're going to get patted down?
For sure.
Well, they start to wonder again. If you're a border agent, like I'm sure this is nothing new. They're like, yeah, we got snake bags here.
I just think
get them.
I don't know. I feel like every crime you could probably get away with it if you really thought about it enough, and I think he didn't think about it enough.
What should he have done?
I mean, first of all, not be suspicious at the border. Can you do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, people manage to probably get through who are not caught.
Right. So that's one. You just got to think about what comes off suspicious. What was suspicious about what he was doing, and you got to think about how you can change that.
That was like the one time I went through the border, and they're like, "Are you here for what do they say, business or pleasure?" And I messed up. I was like, "Business," and I was like, "Oh no, wait,
No, I'm not.
I'm here for vacation."
Pleasure.
And the guy looks at me and is like, "I'm sorry, I'm just nervous." And he's like, "Why are you nervous? No reason."
I got in trouble at the
I'm just nervous.
Canadian border. They were giving me a very hard time. This is going in to Canada. So I went to Niagara Falls, but we parked on the American side because it was free to park at the casino.
Yeah.
So we parked at the American side, then we walked across. So the first time we got across fine. Then when we came back and then tried to go through into Canada again, then they were giving me a hard time because our hotel was over in Canada.
Yeah.
And so they're like, why do you keep going back and forth so much? And it's like, well, we had the hotel, but the parking is cheaper over here. So.
You cheapskate.
Yeah.
It never pays
a
off.
likely story. You want to save money on parking? Who wants to do that? But they were giving me, I was a little concerned. They were pretty gruff about it. It wasn't a joking way.
So for this guy, of course, they're going to call him if he looks suspicious on having all these. So, some of them were endangered, so he faces charges with it.
Well, let this be a lesson to you.
I don't need a lesson. You don't need to tell me that. I know not to do that.
Just like 7 or 8, 52, it's a little bit too greedy, Under 10, they would have let you go.
You gotta tamp it down a little bit.
We've seen some of these where they fly and they get caught. I actually think I would choose to drive. I'd rather have control of the situation driving instead of having all these live creatures attached to you in a plane.
Oh, man.
What about this? What if you rip out one of the seats and put them inside the seat? Mm-hmm. They wouldn't check that, right?
No, they do. People hide in the seats all the time.
But only if you're really suspicious. They're not ripping out everybody's seats.
Hey, okay, everybody's suspicious now.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
How would you like to have your very own nuclear shelter?
Oh, I don't want to think about that.
You don't?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to either.
But, do we have room for one?
But it's time to prepare.
Is it? Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people that have,
that
have those already prepared. Is that underground thing?
Well, it's interesting you bring up we have room for it because we have a Japanese company here that is selling indoor nuclear shelters that they say will fit even in a tiny apartment.
Looks like a garden shed.
Yeah,
sort
exactly.
Of thing.
But more normally you're thinking the nuclear shelters, bomb shelters. The only people who have those are super rich and have it's a whole different thing. But they say that you can just put it in. They can install it in your apartment. And
because that's not fitting through the door unless you want to install it first. So you got to put it together there.
So now how do you test a nuclear shelter?
Well, you only test to a certain point.
I can't imagine that they have any nuclear whatever that they can do with this, but it's supposed to withstand a nuclear, if anything nuclear were to happen. Now, here's a question for you. Let's say, so in this nuclear shelter, you're looking at the pictures, it's got some sitting room in there, some kind of couch style things.
I see a TV.
And a TV. Would you just go, if you had a nuclear shelter, would you just go hang out in the nuclear shelter if it was in your house? Even though nothing was going down.
Well, actually, let's think of it this way. If you had a bad roommate situation, noisy neighbors.
Yeah.
You just wanted to get away from everybody, just have a moment of peace. Yeah, this could be like your man cave.
Yeah, there you go.
A windowless man cave.
It's a way where you can get away from. Actually, that's a good point. The windowless thing would make it tough. Although the basements are oftentimes the funnest place in people's houses. So, yeah, I don't know. And the size of this thing, and since we're talking about putting it into an apartment, it's going to take up some space still.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to make use of that space. You just don't want to, you got to make sure that the use is a use that if there was a nuclear situation, that
you don't get
that it wouldn't get in the way of you hiding in this shelter for a while.
Well, let's say you have a 1-bedroom and you want to bring a roommate in, you need a 2-bedroom. Then I don't think this counts code-wise, but it's an option. It's being developed and promoted in Japan. Obviously, they're using the current situation going on now, but then also they say and promote it to help against possible zigzag missiles developed in North Korea.
Oh, wow.
So they say that this could help.
I want to look. What I don't see in the pictures, maybe it's covered in the video, is the bathroom situation. It's not a very big thing. Where's the bathroom? I don't even see one.
Do you see if you look
Is it under the TV?
No, you see the couch and under the TV. Do you see that jug right there?
No, that is not the bathroom jug. There's no way that's the bathroom jug.
Hudson, it's a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. That's it.
It's 1 bed bath. It's all rolled into one right there.
If you're going through that whole thing and this is to protect you, I think you're not going to get anything better than that.
You're going to have a TV. You're not going to have a bathroom, something?
That's plumbing.
What is there going to be to watch if something nuclear happens anyways?
That's a good point, too. But
and how are you getting electricity?
Watch the news until then. Listen, stop questioning it, all right?
If you get a nuclear shelter, are you allowed to, when nuclear things are happening, are you allowed to go in and out of the door just quickly? I got to go grab a thing of cornflakes. Let me go grab them out of the kitchen and I'll get back into the shelter. It'll be safe.
I only know based on movies.
Yeah.
So I always thought once you were sealed in, you have to wait so long.
Yeah. Well,
and don't ever open the door.
That's enough of that. For more Riot content, head to riot.radiou.com.